wants to be king!
Today's video is going to be twofold in function. First, I want to address a really important subject, a question that was asked by a viewer named Ray Amugwaya. I think if I said your name wrong, I sincerely apologize. But Ray asked a very, very important question, and it's something I think that a lot of men and young men come into face when they look on their lives with a real true lens. And that is, how does one get over wasting time? A lot of times when you look at your life, whenever you come to the realization that you're not where you want to be, one of the things that comes to light is how much time you've wasted chasing your vices, your instant gratification. The other part of this message in dealing with that is a program that I've launched via an app. About a year ago, I gave away the 90-Day Suck program. I gave it away to anybody who wanted it. I sent them a digital copy of the book, and for a few, I sent them a hard copy of the book. And a couple of people that I associate with thought that I was crazy for doing that, but there was a reason for it. You can give people a program all day. There's no lack of information on the internet. You can get any program for anything that you want to accomplish. But the problem isn't attaining the information. The problem is execution. And in giving away the 90-Day Suck program, I have yet to get report back from one person who successfully navigated that, because what we generally do when we're faced with real change is we fall back upon where we are, where we're most comfortable. So what I want to share at the end of this video is an opportunity for 25 men who are ready to stop making excuses, stop putting it off till later, to actually join me in a voyage that I'm taking next month going into August. But before we get into that, I want to talk about how you get over looking at your life and realizing that you've wasted a lot of time. The first thing I would tell you, Ray, is you mentioned that you're about to be 31. You may have had that birthday in the time since I got the message 2 weeks ago. If that's the case, happy birthday. If not, use that for later on when it finally hits. But I would say to you, be easy on yourself. I took the long route in finding out who I was supposed to be and what I was supposed to do in my life. And it took me until I was over 40 years old until I actually leaned into who I was molded to be. One of the things that a lot of young men today, where they falter, where they fall prey, aside from following false idols and these men who wish to be vaulted up as their savior, is the idea that you're supposed to get there quick. We've got this drive-through mentality where we want instant gratification of our desires, and if and when those things don't come quickly and easily, we get frustrated, and many times we move on to the next thing, and we have a series of these things that, you know, you have a litany of things that you began but you never finished, because most people don't realize in order to be great at anything takes a lot of failure. It takes a lot of trial and error in doing the thing. Very few people have the ability to just jump into anything and be naturals at it. Those people are savants, and they're very rare in our society. Even the greatest basketball player to ever do it, Michael Jordan, got cut early in his career, and he forged himself into be the best dude to touch a basketball court because he became obsessed in doing the little things over and over again, missing shots. You never make the shots you don't take. And so young men today feel like, because they look at guys like Andrew Tate and all these other dudes that use their material wealth to signify success, which is an absolute fallacy. When you look up to people like that, you measure yourself according to what they have. And in real life, from my experience, the people that I've encountered in my life that use those things as examples of their success as a human being, generally there's something missing in those people. I don't know Dan Bilzerian. I don't know any of these other dudes who flash their wealth to try to get young men to hold them up to deity status, which that's what that is. Make no mistake, that's what that is. That's peacocking, because young men are easily persuaded. They're easily manipulated into believing things because we like shiny things. We like shiny things. We like things that go fast. But more than anything else, we like things that make other people like us, which is kind of sad. But once you get to a place in your life and you realize that no matter what you have, no matter what you've acquired, no matter what these external things are that you add to your life, until you truly become a man, until you truly can see yourself in the mirror and be proud of who and what you are, how you got to where you find yourself standing, until you reach that point, you will always find yourself lacking. You will always find yourself chasing these false gods. And these false gods are everything from money, attention from others, all these external things that we are encouraged to seek to show us that this is the measure of success. Most people that I know have wasted their life in pursuit of these things. And when they reach the point that they come to a realization that those things didn't matter, generally it's because of a tragic event. They lose someone close to them. And many, many times when a person comes to that realization, it's through pain. Realizing that you've wasted your time as a young man without a catastrophic event, without that pain, you should consider yourself wise. You're actually wise beyond your years at 31 years old to realize that you have found yourself running from the things that would make you great. So what I would say, Ray, is very, very simple. Don't be so hard on yourself. The realization that the past is over, that's a truth that you need to set in. That's a truth that you need to accept. There's no way that you can go back and change the things that happened in the past, but you can change the way that you look at those things. At one point in time, I looked at everything that happened in my life. I looked at it as if life was happening to me. At one time, I would probably say that I looked at my life like I was a victim of my life. Things happened over and over again that seemed to be outside of my control. And when you're young and you go through life and there's a bunch of trauma, when you go through these things, whenever you go through life and it's difficult, and you find yourself weathering that storm, while you're in that storm, it's easy to find yourself settling in despair, to feel sorry for yourself. It's easy to grow up and feel like you've had the deck stacked against you. But one of the things that you learn in fighting is when you're engaged in the fight, in the battle of life, you're going to take some shots. And when you enter into an arena where you're engaging with another man and you get hit, the fear of getting hit is actually way more intense than the pain of getting hit. And once you start engaging with these circumstances in a gym situation, you realize, first of all, that what you are afraid of isn't that scary. But you also find out who you are after you get hit. A lot of people, when they take the shot initially, their brain panics. And their initial response is to run. And that's what many people do when life serves them up something difficult. They cower and they run. But when you're raised in such a manner that you don't have the ability to run, and you sustain the blows that life gives to you, once you've stopped being afraid of the opponent of life, once you stop fearing what might happen, you learn that you have a lot more control over the fight than you think you do. And even though you get hit, and you will, it's all right. It's not the end of the fight. as long as you're still conscious, as long as you're still standing, as long as you can still put your chin down and your hands up, you're still in the fight. And eventually what you'll learn is all of those things that you thought you were suffering, those were the things that were forging you into the man that you were meant to be. And once you can see things that way, although you can't go back and change the things that happen, you can change the way you perceive those things. And instead of looking at them as a waste of time or whatever thing that you attach to them, realize that you seeing that is the important part. You going through those experiences and weathering those storms and reaching the point where you can look at them and see that's not who I want to be. That's not what I want to do. That's not where I want to go. That's the journey of manhood. In 10 years, you will know men that today are doing those things that you're wishing to escape, and they'll still be fully embedded in those things because they identify with that person. Understanding that as young men, as humans, we do tend to waste a lot of time. But understanding, identifying that waste of time and doing something about it, not shadow boxing outside the ring of life, but putting your mouthpiece in, getting in the ring, and taking the beating until you learn how to give one. That's what being a man is all about. That's what becoming a real warrior is about. Nobody wins every fight. And if and when you do, the moment you lose, that's when your growth really starts to, that's where it takes root. That's where that fruit is planted. Because it's easy to put your hands up and look forward when you're winning. But when you have to pick yourself off the ground and continue to look forward, that's hard. That's what makes men. So, to close it up, to sum it all up, it's the important part isn't the time. While the time is the most valuable resource we have, you've already spent the time that you look back on with regret. Know this, wasting any more time looking backwards is still wasting time. So stop. Stop giving your attention to things that you can't change. You know what those things are. You know what you've done. And you should know what you need to do. If nothing else, you know what you need to stop doing. So put your focus, your attention, your energy in doing those things. Because looking backwards is only going to make you run into or run past what's right in front of you. So last year, I put out my 90-day suck program, and I gave it away 100% free to anybody who sent an email and inquired about it. And when I went to the convention, I talked to my man Steve, and he thought that I was crazy for giving it away for free. But my logic behind that was very simple. You can take a coach's playbook, but you're never going to build the team that coach has built because you're not that coach. Since I put the program out, I've had absolutely nobody send me a message saying how they've completed it successfully. And if and when somebody did send me that message, I would have a lot of doubts if they were really true to it, because it's extremely difficult to do, if not impossible to do by yourself. Usually you have to put yourself into a situation where it's make or break, where it's do or die. And very few people in modern society have the wherewithal to put themselves in that type of situation. And that's where past suffering comes into play. That's where you can tap into the things that you've already been through and find strength in those things. You can put yourself mentally in those hard places and endure hard things. But since then, I've had several people send me messages asking about different phases, different areas of the program. And instead of trying to field all of these things, I've decided to have my web developer modify our app that we use to do our online virtual training to deal with the 90-day of suck program specifically. So here's what we're doing. For the next 6 months, what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 waves of the 90-day of suck program, with which we take 25 men. Those 25 men will engage in a program that is delivered to them via this app, and they will be held accountable for 90 days and the things After the strength training, after those things, the things that you decide you need to do. This program will be the 90-day of suck program under a magnifying glass. And this group will come together as a team and work together as a team instead of hiding behind our insecurities and not wanting to be seen for who we truly are right now. So if you're interested in engaging in this program, it's very simple. Send me an email to this address here, and understand it is rooted in strength training. No matter where you are on that scale, there are things that you are inevitably ignoring. Even if you're strong, most people have a hole somewhere, things that suck that they know they need to do that they're not doing. So this program is applicable to anyone and everyone who feels that it's time to step up to the line and get after it. So if you want to be one of the first 25, send me an email, let me know. The cost for this is not free. It's going to be $80 a month for 3 months. So for $240, 3 months, you will change your perspective. You will change your life. You will change your physicality. If you're interested in the program, send me an email and we'll get you going forward. First 25, cut off at 25. Then the next 25, out of those 2 groups, 2 men will be selected one out of each group to come to the on-site camp that we're running at the beginning of next year on my property. So if you're interested in doing this, if you're interested in facing yourself down, if you're interested in stopping running from who you're supposed to be, drop me an email and let's get after it.